Give me that.
Crypto Quickie.
What is up, everybody? It's your boy KJ here with your daily Crypto Quickie, where we give you just the tip. Welcome. I know it's been a long time. Happy holidays to everybody. In this episode, well, we're going to be talking about Bitcoin showing some major signs of reversal, some pretty key indicators that I'm looking at, and I'm going to talk to you about that. As well, we're going to go over Tezos. A lot of you know that we've been covering that for some time. Is it time to cut and run? Maybe. Let's take a look at that. Vechain as well, we'll discuss. And Tron. Justin Sun seems to have gotten into some trouble with the Disney Corporation. So, action-packed episode. I'm going to try to get you through it as quickly as possible. One thing of note, I know that you guys have been following me. I haven't done a video in about a week. It's because my grandmother did pass last week, and it's a really tough time in the holidays. So, you know, she lived a long life, touched a lot of people. She will be forever missed and loved by my family and people that, anybody that knew her, you loved her. And, you know, it was really tough for me, but I take comfort knowing that, you know, she lived a full life. She's been reunited with my grandfather who passed a couple of years ago. And just, you know, it's just a reminder to everybody watching, the people around you are not here forever. So enjoy all the moments you have with them, especially during this holiday season. So in the dojo, we were actually trading this live. This little fake out down here, around between 10:30 and 11:30, that's where you saw a lot of the action begin. I was looking at it at 10:40 saying, you know, this is a pretty long flag we have going here. And I started to see that we were above this high time frame trend line. So you had a retest, we bounced above it, and the bullish signs were sticking out, which we'll talk about a little bit more later. And we immediately popped up, if you look back, saying this looks like a fake rejection so far. So I was looking at the order book, the volume, where it was coming from, and a mixture of that plus sentiment. And, you know, we were able to identify that. This became a very tight flag and then just took off. So, you know, let's zoom out a little bit and look at what led up to this move. So, what am I seeing that's making me feel bullish about this? All right. We had a short-term downtrend, which led to the low. That has been broken above it. This red line here, which is the high time frame trend line that we were using for the whole, pretty much the whole move down, and been kind of pointing out to you guys that when this breaks, if it breaks and we start to close above it, that's a time to long. Well, we started to close above it here. Made a few closes and then we just took off. It wasn't rejected at this line. That was the other key sign to me that this move is going to continue. That was really what I was looking at. And when that dump didn't bring the price below this trend line, that was my signal. Okay, this is going to keep going. You also have now, we are creating a shockwave above the Vegeta lives level. You definitely want to see this hold on. This top of this wick here and the first wick down, that's your support. If it goes much below that, you're probably going to, I wouldn't be surprised to see it return to anywhere between 71 to 7,300 area. So it depends on how you're playing this, but if you're looking at what's happening now on a short-term time frame, we have an uptrend developing. So we have a high, we have the low, the high, a low, a high, a higher low, a higher high. And as long as we continue to make higher highs and higher lows, I don't see any reason to think about this as any harder than you need to. All right, so let's talk about the bullish signs that we're seeing on BTC. As you can see on this chart, I have a couple different indicators on here. These two right here are exclusive property of the dojo and created by my partner Chris. The one on the top is the Market Hammer Trend Finder. This takes 24 different volume-weighted EMAs to display a heat map of the current trend. So that is colorized. You can see obviously green means bullish, red means bearish, and then you cross over in between. What we're seeing now currently on the 12-hour is we have been in red for the better part of a month now. You're starting to see some yellow, and it looks as though it's almost ready to cross over. On the 8-hour, we are in yellow territory. So that does look good to me. Back to the 12-hour chart, the second indicator below, which I actually haven't showcased for you guys at all, is the market hammer momentum indicator. This takes a volume-weighted price momentum sample that's created by algorithms that Chris made. These are not tools that you just blindly trade with, but when I see both of these pointing bullish, it makes me excited. I look here on the market momentum indicator where you see 0 is the baseline. Anything above 0 is bullish. We have not been above 0 since the October $3,000 Bitcoin pump. Same with the trend finder. We have not flipped green since that pump. So I'm starting to see some signs on both of these. Below you have just your standard RSI. We definitely want to make a high here. We want to get above this and into this kind of bullish territory, but all three of these indicators are pointing in the right direction. Also, this red trend line here, which was the resistance, then the support, then the resistance again, we'll zoom in a little bit, was broken as discussed earlier. You have that. We have the trend line break. This volume on this dump that led to the low was the lowest volume on the whole way down. So you have the low volume dump, the high time frame trend line break. You have all indicators pointing up. This looks good. Okay. We definitely want to stay above Vegeta Live's level. Create some sort of price action similar to this one. It doesn't need to be as long. I'd like to see maybe stay here for a day and a half, and then kind of make its way up to the John Wick territory. That's the next level where you're going to see some resistance. The biggest resistance, I think, because a lot of people are looking at 8K, so I think it'll serve. It might serve as a pit stop, but this cross right here between nothing you can do about it level 8,500 and the highest trend line, that's where the big resistance comes in. And I think that if we can get above like 85.50, 85, 86, if you get above that, then we could talk about like a full-blown reversal. I mean, it would be pretty exciting. So that's a level where, if you're long, it doesn't hurt you to take profit there. But right now, I am very cautiously bullish. Pretty much, until we aren't, and we just move the stops up. So that's how we're trading this. Let's move on to Tezos. Okay, so Tezos, this tweet was from December 19th, so about 4 days ago. So XTZ, no meaningful bounce until around 1950. Probably a bounce you'll want to fade or short, no interest in longs unless it can get above the high here. So right now, Tezos did bounce. Let's look at where it is. Made it to 1934, so pretty close. I was off by 15 sats. But basically, these are the same lines that I drew in the previous videos. But it really had to bounce here. If not, it kind of looks really bad. I know from a fib level, the 0.5 is around 1,700 and change. That's a level where a lot of people are going to be looking, but if we're unable to kind of get back up above this on this move, I think it doesn't look very good. If you're a long-term holder, I know a lot of people watching this don't want to trade, and that's fine. You don't want to be a quote-unquote day trader, but knowing when to exit and re-enter so you can be bullish on something long-term, it doesn't mean you need to hold on to it forever. So I used to do that. I mean, in 2017, I saw something, I think it was undervalued, and I'd be like, you know what, I'm just going to hold on. But the reality is, most people don't buy the bottom and most people don't sell the top. Like, you could be in it, hold on, and then watch it come all the way back. I'm sure that happened to a lot of people. So that's why it's important to have some knowledge of trading and understanding, and always use a stop loss at some point. So for instance, when we were discussing, I was saying I didn't want to see it under this first line. That would be a good spot to have a stop. That line broke. The second line here would have been your next level. That's a little more risky. But once that, see, it goes below, goes to retest and gets rejected again, you can be out there at 2,200 and then rebuy at 1915. Now you've got yourself almost 10% more Tezos for free. So it always, I mean, especially if you took this stop, you could have got stopped out there and then rebought at 1950. That would have been a great spot. You have more Tezos and you can lower your stop loss where you're not taking as much risk. So if you end up managing these positions, if there is a quote unquote alt season where alts start doing 10x, imagine for every 10% more Tezos you have down here, multiply that by a 10x. Think about that. So right now, what I'm seeing is Tezos, I think this level needs to hold for it to be bullish. If you're in a long here, I don't mind playing it. If we make it anywhere up here and fail, then you could short this, I think. You could short it, at least short term. Also, based off of what BTC will do, I don't see a scenario right now where if BTC gets up to those 8,500 levels or over 8K, that alts go with it, at least in the short term. So for alts to continue to boom, you need BTC to go sideways or down. If BTC starts to go up, and we're looking at what it is, right now it's actually going down a little bit. But for BTC, this, at least short term, is a relatively strong move. We're already up, over $1,000 from the low. And you saw that alts did go backwards. So if it continues to move upwards, I don't see why we would need to be in alts until it shows some signs of slowing. So just be careful, use your stop losses, and let's talk about Vechain. We looked at this box here that we've been drawing and paying attention to. Literally double bottomed right here at 67. So this might have stopped me out. I don't think I would have stuck around below here. Once this retest happened and it failed, I would have been out of this. But we have a double bottom, okay? And now we are testing the box resistance once again. It's still in a somewhat bullish structure. You definitely need to get out of this box. If we can't get above like 80, 85 sats or something in the next, if this just gets rejected here, then this probably, this 67, 65 area is probably not going to hold. And you'll probably end up going back to the 50s. That's where I would look. Again, is around 50, 55, something like that. But, right now it's trying, but I don't know if it's going to make it. So we'll keep an eye on that if you're in there. Definitely use stops, because if this fails, it can get ugly very quickly. And lastly, we will talk about Tron. So Tron trademark hits roadblock with Disney situation. Okay, so Tron applied for a patent or to trademark the Tron name, and Disney said, nah, man, can't do that. So they denied them. Justin Sun's response was, Tron's brand is well established and reputed worldwide. Lots of misinformed FUD falsely claiming about Tron trademark invalidated by Disney. When a trademark application is filed in the United States, it has to specify a class for the type of product or service that the trademark belongs to. Okay. Anyway, I'm not a fan of Tron, not a big fan of Justin Sun. This is kind of expected. But I don't know. Not major news, but it's not a good look for Tron. And let's look at the chart. Let's see. So we'll zoom out a little bit. So downtrend. Some decent buy volume here and rejected. If you're bullish on Tron, you want to see it above 200 sats again. Personally, I wouldn't play this unless it clears 250 sats. If it clears 250 sats, then it might be very bullish. So I would just keep my eyes open for that. So yeah, that's it. That's the show. So that's the show, guys. BTC looking bullish. Alts not as much. And I hope you enjoy your holidays. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like and subscribe. I will be back soon with some live streams. Follow me on Twitter, Korean Jew Crypto. And if you want to support me, check out dudex.com. You can use my referral link, dudex.com/Korean Jew. It's in the upper left corner if you want to give me some support, and check it out. Have a good one.